How's it going, guys? Okay, today I'm just going to be showing you a little tutorial on how I made this bass patch with the Virus TI. It's a drum and bass sort of dubsteppy dark patch. I'll show you the sound first and then we'll go through it step by step. So here it is on its own. Okay, right, we've got a lot going on with this, so I'm going to probably be a bit quick, so you might have to pause it and go back over it if you get stuck. But we'll start with the oscillators. That's a knit it. Oscillator 1 is a wavetable, 4-man Tera. We pull it back to about 30, pull it down 2 octaves, keep everything else how it is except the interpolation. Put that up to about 40. Oscillator 2 is a wavetable as well. This one is Sooty Sweep. Pull this one down 1 octave. Everything else is as it is. FM mode, change it to phase mod. Pull the envelope down. Velocity all the way down. Phasing it to about 70. Portamento to about 42. Sync the two oscillators together. The third oscillator is wave 64. Pull this down 2 octaves. Leave a detune where it is. So I'll show you what this sounds like just with the 3 oscillators and then no effects. So yeah, pretty basic at the minute, but it's going to get better. Unison, set it to 4. Turn the G tune up to about 40. Pan spread to about 50. LFO to about -17. Keep the oscillator balance in the middle and oscillator free volume in the middle. Turn the saturation up slightly to about +12. A little bit of noise in there, about 34. Leave the ring modulation. Okay, with the Unison on, I'll show you again quick. That makes it instantly wider with the Unison on. We're going to modulate the, I think it's a detune later with an envelope, so that makes it even better. Okay, we'll go to the filters now. Filter 1, keep it as a low pass. Bring it back to about 89, 90. Push the envelope amount to about 30, 32. Keep everything else the same. Band pass for filter 2. Pull this one back to about 27. You want the envelope to be negative on this one, and keep it as it is standard. Saturation for the filters, we use a wave shaper. It just adds a bit of warmth before you get any of the effects coming into play. Right, filter envelope. Back it off to about 51. Decay, pretty much leave where it is. Sustain, up to about 40. Slope, just back it off ever so slightly to about -7. Keep the release all the way out. Okay, we'll set up envelope 3 and 4 as well while we're here. They're not doing anything at the minute, but they are going to be used to modulate effects later on, so we'll do envelope 3 first. Envelope 3 is say back the attack off right the way up to about 55. Decay to about 88, 90. Sustain halfway about 50. Keep the slope all the way down to negative. Push the release up to about 55. Say envelope 4 now. Push the attack right out on this one to about 104. Decay about 70. Sustain halfway again. Push the slope to positive this time, plus 8. And release up to about 50. With the amp envelope, just back it off ever so slightly. Just stops the clicking when you press a key or when a note starts. Give it a little bit of release, about 25. Okay, yeah, filter balance in the middle. Everything else, leave as it is. We'll go to I'll play this quickly with the filters in play. It appears to have dulled it down for the minute, but when we put an LFO on it in the effects, it's going to get better. So we'll do the LFOs now. It's just one LFO actually, it's just LFO2 that I use. Link the two filters together, pull them both negative about 64, 65. Change it to a sine wave. Keep contour in the middle. Push the trigger phase all the way up. That means it's going to restart the LFO every time that a new key comes in or a MIDI note's played. Sync it to quarter notes. I say that's it for the LFO. I'll play this now with the LFO, show a bit more movement. Okay, right, we'll do the FX and then we'll go back to the matrix afterwards. So we'll go to FX 1. What I used was a speaker cabinet. This instantly changes it, just gives it a lot more grit, makes it a bit dirty. I'll show you. Okay, we'll have a tiny bit of chorus. Keep it on classic, sorry. Just push it up ever so slightly to about 9. Keep the delay down, just push your feedback up slightly, about minus 90. Distortion, we use soft bounce for this one. I don't normally use this, but it seemed to work quite well. Push your drive up about 25%. Keep everything else the same. Phaser 37. I did a 2-pole. Push the frequency to about 75. Keep the spread and the feedback where they are, and the rate and the depth. Filter bank, used a valve filter. Pull the mix back to about halfway, 50%. Whack the resonance up to about 60, and the valve to about the same, 55, 60. Use a tiny bit of EQ and just boost the lows a bit. Keep the frequencies all where they are and the Qs. Just pull the highs down slightly. Okay, that's it for effects 1. I'll show you it again. Okay, we're getting there now. Effects 2. Turn the delay. I used a pattern for this, 3-2. Push the feedback up to about 55. Just keep the volume pretty much where it was, about 21 I think it was. This is what it sounds like. It just helps the notes tail off a bit at the end. Same with this little bit of reverb we use. Push the volume up to about minus 30. I kept it on large room. Decaying the damping is pretty much how it was. I just set the pre-delay to a quarter note. That's it for effects 2. So I go to the common tab. Because it's a bass patch, I just made it monophonic, mono 1. Now this is where we get down to it. This is all the modulation. Help it move around a bit. So we'll go to the matrix section, source envelope 3, and this is going to use it to modulate the distortion intensity, Unison detune as I said earlier, and oscillator 3 detune. Envelope 3 again over here. One more parameter we're going to do is an oscillator 2 shape index. These shape indexes, it's like on if you're used to using massive when you modulate the wavetable, it's exactly the same. So yeah, for the shape index, push it all the way up. Distortion intensity all the way up. Unison detune to about 40. Oscillator 3 detune, pull it back to about negative 25. Okay, now we also use envelope 4. This is the one with the the longer attack. So this one we use it for the LFO2 rate. Pretty much just back it off ever so slightly, negative 3. Filter bank frequency is the next one. This is the valve filter. Filter bank frequency. Push that up pretty much all the way to the top, about plus 55. Oscillator 1 shape index is the last one. Push that all the way up. Okay, that's it for the matrix section. So that's pretty much the sound done then. Yeah, that's it. I'll play it on its own and I'll tell you there's a couple of modifications you can do just to change it a bit. So I'll play it on its own with a beat that I made. Okay, so there it is. So two things you can do to change this light for yourself is just the analog mode button. Simple, click it. It makes it a lot deeper and a lot more subby. I think I probably prefer that actually. I might leave that on when I save it again. The other thing what I found out is if you change a band pass to a band stop, push it out to about, I forget what it was, about 25, 30. I'll solo that again. That makes it a lot higher. Makes it a lot more like a drone bass, but it still works brilliant for me. So those two little things, analog button, band stop, push it up to about 30. So put it back to out well, play it a couple more times again, and that's it. Okay, that's it then. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it all. Rate, comment or subscribe. Any comments or feedbacks or any tutorials that you want doing in the future, let me know. Cheers.